All right, so let's get started. Good morning, everybody. Once again, good morning. Good morning. Let's just have some uh, let's have a few. All right, I would say welcome and congratulations to you for being able to make out the time, excuse me, to be here to join. I do hope that you find value at the end of the day, and that not only do you find value, you'll be able to also utilize the information that you get today to make a decision that can change things around for you. Okay, that can change things around for you. My name is Joshua Oyeniyi. I am a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants of Nigeria, and I'm also a member of the Certified Management Consultants Global Body. I'm the founder and CEO of Amborion Global Consulting in the United States, as well as Amborion Consulting in Nigeria. Last month, we spoke lengthily on the various visa categories, the B1, B2, F1, F2. Now, we touched a little bit on, green cards, but this month we're going to be focusing just on the green card categories. And why? Well, I do believe that the green card category has the most impactful effect on anybody, on a family, if success is achieved on that path. So that's why this month we'll just focus on it. There are people who just want to find out, how can I permanently live in the United States? How can I find my way? Gone are the days of diversity visa lottery. That ended in 2009, I think. Right now, no visa lottery. You cannot just play a lottery and then you win a green card. No, you have to work for it right now. And guess what? Thousands of Nigerians from Lagos, from Kaduna, from Port Harcourt, from Edo states are getting green cards from Nigeria. Thousands. No less than 10,000 people get green cards from Nigeria every year. You say, how do I know? I'll tell you. Okay, the stipulation for excluding Nigeria from the visa lottery is this. The United States Customs and Immigration Services is responsible under the Department of Home State, right? Says if a country has sent more than 50,000 people to the United States on a permanent basis over the last 5 years, then that country is not eligible to participate in the diversity visa lottery. That's what the law says. Okay, so it means that over the last 5 years, Nigeria has had more than 50,000 people migrate to the United States permanently. That's what it says. And that includes those who come in with their children, with their wives, with their parents and everything permanently. So if you break that down into the annual average, that's at least 10,000 per year. So if it's at least 10,000 a year come into the United States from Nigeria. So that's a law, and that's why Nigeria is never, qualifying to participate. So the moment they do the average over the last 5 years, and less than 50,000 have come into the US from Nigeria, then Nigeria gets back again to the pool or the visa lottery. It's as simple as that. So for the fact that over the last 13, 14 years, Nigeria has not been able to get back into the pool, it simply means that more than 50,000 people have come into the US over the preceding 5 years. And then at least more than 10,000, at least 10,000 have come into the US the previous year. So we can conveniently say that in 2023, at least 10,000 people migrated into the United States from Nigeria. Now, they must not be in Nigeria to migrate in. They can be in China. They can be in Australia. They can be in Canada. I had, a colleague telling me a couple of days ago that a Canadian citizen, a Nigerian Canadian citizen, called him and said, I need to come over to the United States with a green card. And he gave his reason. But I was pleasantly shocked. A Canadian citizen, but says, you know what? No, I need to come over. So put me on this green card pathway. How do I get it done? So it means that even Nigerians who are citizens in other countries that participate and come into the US with a green card add to that number. So that's to tell you that people are migrating to the United States from anywhere. And I know a number of people in Nigeria right now who are on their way to getting green cards. In fact, as a matter of fact, I personally picked up one of them from the JFK airport about a month ago. He came in from Lagos, right? He came in from Lagos. He was living in Ikorodu. That was where he processed everything and then got his green card and just came. And I picked him up myself. So let's talk about this green card, pathways and how you can do it. So my goal is not necessarily to is to just talk about this, is to help you find out how can you do it yourself. So you can do it yourself because if you're going to go through a lawyer, right, which is the norm, I understand the the impact of the exchange rate and how it can be very difficult. And the thing is that not many Nigerian lawyers are very knowledgeable about this. So you might want to engage a US-based immigration attorney. And they are costly. I will share in the course of the of the presentation how costly they can be, and then the alternatives. Okay, and this session would only last. This part of the session would only last for about 20 minutes, and then I will take questions. Okay, because the this particular discussion is very broad. I can use the next 3 hours talking about these and these and these, but we're not going to do that today. We're just going to go straight to the point, and then I'll tell you what you need to do, and then I'll throw the floor open for questions. Okay, so by the way, I am doing this for free, not necessarily because I have one of my greatest achievements will be to have at least one person work with this information that I share to come over to the US, whether it's it's a visiting visa, a student visa, or a green card. It's been my joy, right, to have you come over to the US, and then I see you and you tell me, oh, it was what you shared with us on the platform for free that I utilized to get here. Okay, it will be my joy. So I'm going to teach you how to do it yourself, and then if you have questions, remember that if you want to engage me personally, I already said that, on the platform. If you want to engage me personally, my time is not free, okay? Which is why I'm doing this, these free webinars, so that I can be able to share this information with you all for, for free. So my time is not free. You can book a session, and it's pretty cheap, like pretty cheap, right? So you can book a session with me. You can engage me on WhatsApp, and I will share the link to go book the session on seller.co. For 30 minutes, it will just be you and me, okay, talking about what you intend to do. So let's talk about the green card pathways, okay? Let's talk about the green card pathways. To start with, we have the employment-based visas that provide you with green cards. Okay, that's where I'm going to be focusing on, the employment-based visas that provide you with green cards. Now, there are other pathways that provide you with green cards, Okay, we have the marriage, we have the family-based green cards, where a father or a mother who is an American citizen, petitions the USCIS, which is the United States Customs and Immigration Services, to give you a green card. I'm talking about how can you get a green card on your own merits. Okay, not somebody has to file for me, not how do I get a, no, how can you get it on your own merits? Okay, so there are 5 employment-based visa categories. Okay, and they are these categories that individual can use to attain or to obtain permanent residence visas in the United States. The EB visa group of green cards covers various employment-based immigration options, and the employment-based visas require a solid case for you to get approved by the United States Customs and Immigration Service, USCIS. Okay, some employment-based immigrant visas require what is known as a PERM application. PERM is PERM. Okay, a PERM application or labor certification. That basically means that you are submitting an application to the United States labor organization to say, I'm coming into the United States to work in this category. Please let me know if I am not going to be taking away local jobs, or that my profession is or does not have enough people to come do the job in the United States, or that even though there are enough people, I have a lot of experience that can contribute meaningfully to the United States economy. That's what a PERM application means. You are asking them to verify that despite the fact that they have other people that are doing the same thing in the United States, you as a person, you have a uniqueness, you have a USP, unique selling point that makes you still qualified to come in. Because remember, every country is trying to get the best for itself, keep the best for itself. So if there are locals that have the same job experience, why should they give you, a Nigerian, a green card because you say you are a tech, a software engineer, or that because you say you're a medical doctor? Why should they give you, the green card when there are medical doctors in the United States? So in some categories, you would have to submit the PERM application so that they can certify you. It's when they certify you that you can now submit a petition for the actual green card. Okay, so let's talk about the first one. Let's talk about the first one. There are 5 categories, like I mentioned. We have the EB1, we have the EB2, we have the EB3, we have the EB4, and we have the EB5. I'll run through them as much as I can. You look at what areas you think, you fit into, and then you can ask your questions about them much later. So the EB1 visa category is a first preference employment-based visa reserved for foreign nationals who demonstrate extraordinary ability in their field. Qualifying areas can be science, can be arts, can be education, can be business or athletics. Evidence proving extraordinary ability or that the person is outstanding must have been sustained at a national or international level. Okay, so the EB1 basically is the number 1 on the category. So it's called the first preference. So there are preferences. There's first, there's second, there's third, there's fourth, there's fifth. The first preference simply means that this person is, according to the employment-based visa category classification, he is the most important or requires the most attention. Why? Because they are the forefront of innovation. They are the forefront of invention. They are the forefront of, research. They are the academia, the scientists, the inventors. So the US feels these guys are, for us, they are the future. So let's give them the first preference. Okay. And for you to qualify for that, they ask you to to just present proof of your extraordinariness. So let's talk about what that actually means. Okay. So number one, is that you're an outstanding researcher or professor. So if you know a professor in Nigeria who has been a professor, like when I was chatting with a professor at the University of Lagos a few weeks ago, and I said, sir, you need to explore this option, you know. So if you know a professor in Nigeria who has done lots of publication, yes, they can qualify for EB1. At least I know somebody who did that and brought his family in, a Nigerian professor. Okay, so you can qualify for a green card. Or you know somebody who is an academic researcher in a university. Okay, they research, they publish articles in, you know, in foreign journals all over the world. They have multiple applications. They can actually qualify for EB1. Okay, so the first one is those who have extraordinary ability. Now, extraordinary ability for this one can also mean somebody who has won a Grammy, for example, in the arts, in music. Maybe there is a secular artist or a non-secular artist who has won a Grammy in their field. Okay, that is what USCIS also defines as extraordinary ability. It means they, you know, they have stood out in their field. So they can get a green card if they apply for it. They can get a green card almost like this. Okay, because what else do they need to prove? They've proven their, you know, their metal at the very highest level. For you to get a Grammy, it means that your art is appreciated on a global scale. So, you know, you can get that. Now, if you're an outstanding professor, like I said, or researcher, you can also get that. And number three, because there are subcategories under the employment-based visa category one, the EB1, there's the EB1A, EB1B, EB1C, but they are all EB1. So the EB1A is basically those who have extraordinary ability. The EB1 B is a standing professor or researcher, okay? And then the EB1C is managers or executive of your multinational company. How do I explain that? So you have somebody who works in Microsoft in Nigeria. Microsoft is a multinational company. They have presence in countries around the world. Somebody who works in Google in Nigeria, okay? But the company has a presence in the United States. And the person is a manager in that place or a C-suite executive, okay? That person can obtain a green card to the United States to continue working with that multinational. So I know somebody who did that. What he did was he was working with Microsoft as a manager, and then he told Microsoft, I would like to relocate to the United States, to do something with you guys in the United States. And because of his pedigree and his impact and his contribution, you know, to the workforce in Nigeria, was able to get a green card to come to the United States. So that category is for them, the EB1C. Okay, I go to the second one. However, for the EB1A, to close that, it is very, very juicy. Okay, it's juicy because there is what is called the priority date when you're trying to get a green card. The priority date simply means that the US will attend to your case based on when you applied for it, and then how many visas are available, because those visas are available in quotas. So they could say for EB1, we have 30,000 visas available globally. Okay. But then, you know, the question is, can they find 30,000 people that can meet up with the requirement within the fiscal year for the immigration? Okay. Which starts from, from September to October. All right. So they ask, if you cannot meet up with all of that, then, you know, you are not within that fiscal year. So, however, for the EB1, that priority date is always current. What that means is that as soon as you get your petition approved, you are immediately qualified to get that green card, which will come in within a month, 2 or 3. So that I will come to that because it's a bit, it's not as easy to explain, until we get to talking about priority dates and what being current actually means. Okay. So, and then we have the EB2. So the EB2 is a second preference employment-based visa, okay, that is typically for graduates with an advanced degree or foreign national with exceptional ability in their area of specialization. Another option is the EB2 national interest waiver, which does not require the PERM or labor certification. This particular pathway fast tracks applications for individuals who can prove their specialty in the interest of the United States. Okay, in the interest of the United States. So the EB2 NIW is a unique pathway to securing residency and can be a viable option for entrepreneurs. So let me talk about this one in 2 or 3 minutes, okay? Because this, I feel, is a category that most people might fall under as well. So the EB2 category is second preference, which means after the EB1, you are considered next of importance. Okay, so the EB2 then has two subcategories. There is the EB2, the regular pathway, and then there is the EB2 NIW. The EB2 NIW is becoming very, very common and familiar and popular in recent times. Okay, and why is that? It's because now people are seeing that, oh, I don't really need to have a whole lot of distinguishing factors for me to qualify, unlike the EB1. So the EB1 will ask you to have a lot of publications, have a lot of, proofs to show that, but then the EB2 steps it down a little bit. Okay, there is the EB2, which means that you would need to submit a PERM application, the PERM. You're submitting that to say, please, certify me as being able to join the labor force in the United States. Okay, they must certify you. If they don't, you cannot apply for the EB2. So, but then the EB2 NIW is the game-changing, category. NIW simply means national interest waiver. What that means in the lay language is that as a professional, I have something that is of interest to the United States. I bring skills, I bring, excellence, I bring a track record that can influence or positively affect the United States economy in any area that I have chosen to play in. That's what it means. And then you are asking them in return for you bringing your expertise to the table to grant you a green card based on your own merits. Based on your own merits. So you don't need to go through the PERM certification. As soon as you submit your application, they should treat it and then approve it if you meet up with the stipulations. That's what it means. So why is it special? Again, it's because you don't need to have PERM certification. And it can be, you can get it as an entrepreneur, as a business person. So you don't even need, right, to be a professor, to be a researcher, to be an inventor. You could just be, okay, what I do in Nigeria is that I run a consulting business. My consulting business has contributed immensely, immensely to the economy, or have produced people who have been able to change, their business outlook, who have been able to improve their revenue baseline, or who have been able to do X, Y, Z. So you bring that in, and the US gives you a green card in return. Okay, so that is that. I'll come back to this, in a moment. But then let's quickly go on to the next one. Then the EB3, okay, is the third preference employment-based green card for skilled professional or other workers. EB3 visa basically requires that you don't have to meet some very stringent, laws or rules as the EB1 and the EB2. What you just need to do is you need to have 2 years of skilled training and experience or job education. Sometimes it could be post-secondary, just have 2 years, and then provide them with a bachelor's degree, okay, or its equivalent. All right, that is that. Then if you do not have a bachelor's degree, Okay, you can go under what is called the unskilled EB3, which in some cases require you to have even less than 2 years of training. So EB3 is a category for those who have skills. They bring in a particular skill to the United States, and then they have the 2 years of training and a bachelor's. It's as simple as that. Okay, but you need to understand what the other requirement is, and then the wait time as well. One thing you must consider is what is the wait time for this category. Some of them, the wait time can be as as high as 3 years, 4 years. There are those who have qualified for EB3 for 3 years right now, but they are waiting for green cards. Why? Remember that the easier it is, the more people can get in and apply. And the more people get in and apply, the lesser visa numbers are available for them. So because the US doesn't have more, they don't have a limited number of visas to give you in a year. They give certain quotas. So if they have 10,000 to give this year, and more than 10,000 have applied, those other 10,000 have applied that even get their petition approved will have to wait until the next year if they meet the quota, or the upper year, or the next year, or the next year. So you can have a petition approved this year and not have a visa available. Why? Because the quotas are finished. And then you have people that apply before you, they must look at them, in that order. Okay. So let's go to EB4. The EB4 visa is a fourth preference employment-based visa for special immigrants. It was designed as a catch-all for the other categories, and then for people who do not meet up with the other categories. The EB4 visa is often given to, listen carefully, religious workers, but then also applies to other circumstances such as armed forces and physicians. Okay, so there are people that in certain countries, they have some situations, and the US has a pact with them. And they say, okay, because of this pact we have with you, we have a certain amount of quotas that we are reserving for green cards, and then you fall under that category. For example, there is the Haiti pact that the US has with the government of Haiti. Okay, they give their nationals green cards based on that pact that they have with them. And then if you are coming to work with a religious organization, say for example, you are a pastor in a church in Nigeria, and the church has presence in the United States, this green card category is for you. So they say, okay, we want to send a pastor to come and come and lead a church in Houston, okay, or come and lead the church in Arizona. We don't have branches in that place, and the people in the US are not willing to relocate. We want to send you from Lagos or from Port Harcourt to come and start a new church or lead a church in Arizona. This is what category they're going to use for you. You're going to petition the USCIS to give you a religious visa. But what that implies is that you can only work with that religious organization. You cannot work any other place. You cannot say, I'm going to go and work in Microsoft and then be doing pastoring. No, the church will be paying you. And that is the only job you are allowed to legally do in the US. So you must understand the terms and the conditions that come with those visas before you say, oh, I want to, because if you violate any of the laws, they would have you sent back. You will be suable, and your green card can be withdrawn. All right, you cannot violate the visa categories. Now, the fifth one is very special because it is called, money calls the shots in the local parlance. Money calls the shots. So it's called the investor's visa. If you know the investor, so investor Sabinos, these are the Sabinos kind of visa. So this particular visa is just have the money. Just have the money. It's the fifth preference employment-based visa green card for foreign investors with significant funds for investing in a US company. A few options for EB5 investments include a new company or an existing failing company. A wide range of investment options meets USCIS conditions for approval, existing across various fields and industries, including medical facilities, manufacturing, agriculture, and real estate development, hotels, restaurants, casinos, and stadiums. So the EB5 investors visa is often faster than other employment-based visas, and doesn't require a PEM application or labor certification. An attractive part for foreign nationals with significant capital for securing permanent residency. So basically what they are saying here is that if you have funds and the minimum they require you to invest is 850,000 US dollars. Yeah, 850,000 US dollars. Now do the mathematics and let's know what we have in Naira, right? So if you have that kind of money, they ask you to invest that into a place that is less economically developed, okay? Or invest it in real estate in a place where US citizens or US permanent residents do not have enough place to live. So bring that money, take it to a particular community, a particular local place, build homes, build houses that you're going to rent, of course, to them, okay? But you are investing in the US economy, you are investing in the US real estate sector. For you to do that, they reward you with a green card for you and your immediate family, all right? You and it's immediate. Submit that money to them. You have lawyers that would handle all of the legal work, and then in return, you and your wife and children will get a green card. As simple as that. Nothing much. Not doing anything. It's your money that you are using to obtain that green card. Okay, so I would come back to EB2 because I feel that is a category that we need to talk about very well, and maybe EB1, or maybe even EB3. But then let me open the floor for questions and answers, and then we can we can call this a day in a jiffy because I don't want to stay more than 1 hour today. Last month we stayed over 2 hours, okay, and when something is given too free for too long, people do not appreciate it. So I do hope that in the next edition, I will bring in somebody who was able to navigate a green card, process, and then we'll hear from them how they did it. Okay, how they did it, and then in the course of today, I could probably even talk about my own experience in the process. So let's have questions and answers right now. If you have a question, just raise your hand and then proceed to asking your question by unmuting yourself. All right, let's start with Abraham.
All right. Good morning. Thank you so much for the information you have afforded us. I'm really grateful. I'm particularly interested in the EB4 category, being that I'm a pastor. And so I want to ask a few questions around that. First, is the EB4 category, how related is it to the R1 visa? Secondly, I want to ask, because of the limitations you mentioned concerning the EB4 green card, which is that you can't work with any other organization apart from that one. Is there a pathway to transit from that? And then lastly, you said this EB4 category is only open to those whose churches or religious organization is based in as presence in the US. So what pathway is open to someone like myself whose religious organization does not have a presence in the US? What would you suggest for someone like me?
All right, thank you. So just to make it very, very snappy so that we can have time to ask questions, I have less than 15 minutes to wrap up the entire session. The R1 and the EB4 visas are different in the sense that the R1 only enables you to come to the United States temporarily to perform a religious work, Okay, so you are only coming in, say, all right, I'm coming to host a crusade, okay, in Houston, like say Pastor Jerry Eze or Pastor Selman or Pastor Kumuyi or Pastor Deboye says, I want to come to the US to come and minister, come and preach. Okay, that's what I'm coming for. It's R1 visa they go for. It's R1 visa. So they don't go for B1, B2, no. R1 visa. Okay, so or you know, so it's that's the difference. It's temporary, but the EB4 means you are coming to the US as a resident. As a resident, you're coming there to resident pastors, like resident doctors, resident pastors, resident missionaries. That's what you're coming for. So, and the only way is to have a religious organization petition for you from Nigeria. Okay, they are the ones who can do that. Okay, I once had a, you know, religious body ask me if they could petition for me. Okay, they wanted to petition for me so that I could, you know, take charge of their youth ministry, you know, in the United States, you know, but I beautifully turned it down, okay, because I understood some of the conditions and I said, I do not want to have this, I don't want to flout the visa, you know, laws, right? I want to be able to do other things, and the EB4 visa was not for me, okay? But if you have that opportunity, why not? Why not? So, but if you come in with an R1 visa, how do you transit? You have, they give you a particular number of time to stay, maybe 3 months or 1 month or 6 months or whatever it is. If you can begin any other process within that period, and then you don't go outside of that time that you have to stay in the United States, fine. But that is tricky. You might talk to somebody to, you know, to help you with navigating that aspect, because you may not be able to begin the process immediately, and there are reasons for that, okay, which I cannot really go into because it's, you know, they are very detailed analysis. So if you want me to talk about that with you on a one-on-one, then let's have a talk in the, you know, in the in camera. Let me ask Boss said if I be to unmute and quickly ask a question. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning,
sir, from this end. And I want to thank you for this session. Actually, this is my first time of attending your webinar.
You're welcome.
And
You're welcome.
Seeing the topic, it's really attractive, and because it's something I've been looking forward to, and you know, when you're not getting information, it's in some certain area one will be limited.
Yeah.
So I want to find out some things, like concerning the EB3. You mentioned skilled professionals with maybe 2 years of skilled training or experience with BSc. You know, in Nigeria, you might probably study a particular thing, but you might not maybe work in that with what you learned from the school. For example, I want to use an example of someone who studied human physiology, and the person is now working with a pharmaceutical company. And over the years, the person has grown to maybe a national level. I don't know, does such kind of person qualify to apply for such kind of visa?
Okay, just give me the last few statements you made. Those who did what?
Okay, for example, somebody who studied human physiology.
Okay.
Okay. And then working in a pharmaceutical company.
Okay, yeah.
And he has grown in experience over the years to the extent that he has maybe assumed a national position in that same organization.
Okay.
Can such person qualify to apply for it? Because I don't know how one can
EB3,
match
right?
two together. Yes.
Okay. All right. So the short answer. Yes, I got your question now. The short
then
answer.
I still have another question.
Okay,
let me just
more.
ask it.
Yes,
okay.
Quickly.
Then another one is maybe if you apply for a visiting visa, hoping that okay, by the time you get there, but in your mind, you know what you are going for. Maybe you've been looking forward to, you've been applying for maybe graduate.
I got you. Yeah, just go on with the question. I understand where you're going.
But at the same time, you're unable to get maybe funding and the rest. And you now look at maybe going through another route. Like
you not get B1 visa, you coming to the United States, whether you can change to what you want to do, right? Okay, all right. So let me answer that question very, very quickly. The first question the answer to that is yes. Okay, you can actually, come in, or you can actually get that EB3 visa with what you mentioned. Okay, as if you listen to what I was saying about the EB3, you see they use the word physician, okay, as well. You can actually get it. You just need to prove that you have at least 2 years of skilled education, skilled training in that particular profession. Okay, you need to prove that with all your certifications that you have, all your experience on the field, and submit a robust, petition. What I should have mentioned, or I should mention still, is that for you to get the green card, you need to submit a petition. Okay, a petition which can be self-done or done for you by a third party. Okay, so it is a service that I provide as well, but I do not bring it off right away, because my goal is, first, let me put it to you that you can do it. Somebody doesn't have to do it for you. You can do it. It's like saying that you want to apply for a visiting visa, and somebody asked on the last webinar, or somebody asked on the group, and I said, you don't need a lawyer to apply for B1, B2. Just go online, get the S160, get the form filled, and submit your application. It's as simple as that. Okay, so, but for petitions, you might need somebody to help you. You might, okay, or you want to work with templates of people. It's a bit technical, but you can do it. You can do it. So you submit the petition. You can go anywhere from 50 pages to 500 pages. I once had somebody who said that the petition was about 450 pages. Was this bulky when they went to submit it? And you send that, you ship that in to USCIS in the United States. You ship it actually the way it is, that bulkiness. Okay, and then they would go through everything and then determine if you qualify, if you check all the boxes. So yes, you can do that. Number two is that you can come into the US on a visiting visa, B1, B2. Okay, yes, you can. And then decide that, oh, I'm in now. I can actually, I want to go to school in the US, right? Or I want to even apply for any other visa category. You can do that, but it is tricky. Number one, you cannot do that immediately. Okay, that's the first thing. You cannot do that within the first 90 days. Otherwise, you would have told the US that you did not intend to come in on the visit that you told them about when you are applying for that visa. So it is tricky. So you need to get consultation on how to do that. I will not say that openly to the house. You need to find out, how can I transit like that? Okay, if you come in and you apply straight away, you will get banned. You will get banned right away. You will get banned. Okay, so there are ways to doing that, and I explored one of those ways. Okay, I explored. By the way, I have explored, visiting visas for the last 10 years. Over 10 visits, about 10 visits to the United States. So I use that pathway, of course, to transit, and it came with getting the right information. It's just information. How do you do it? You can research on your own, or you meet people that can help you do it. All right. So you can do that. The answer to that is also yes. Let's have Amy quickly.
Amy. Right, thank you very much, sir.
Quick, just one question, please. Quickly,
so my question is for the EB2 national interest waiver, what's the wait period like?
Okay.
That's my question. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So the EB2 national interest waiver right now, the wait period for the petition to be approved on its own, because I'm going to break it down, okay, in a very, very quick segments. So the wait period for you to have your EB2 NIW petition approved can go anywhere from 3 to 6 or 9 months. Yeah. I've seen guys who get their petition approved in 3 months. They were just lucky. Okay, some get it approved. I'm talking about petition right now because you need the petition to get approved before you can apply for the green card itself. So it's a 2-in-1 process. Apply for a petition. Once that is approved, you can now apply for the green card. So the green card can either be done in the United States if you're adjusting, or can be done in your home country if you opted for what is known as a consular processing, which means you have to go to the embassy. They have to just do a formal interview and all of that. They have the advantages, but that's not for right now. So you can wait from anywhere from 3 to 6 months to 9 months for the petition to get approved. However, if you want to reduce that wait time, you can pay the USCIS to activate what is known as the premium processing for you. So premium processing simply means that you're saying, please, I need this thing to be approved or considered or processed within 45 days maximum. And then you pay, as of now, $2,500. You pay that as extra to USCIS. They will get you a response in maximum of 45 days. Usually, it can even be one day. Yeah, can be 1 day, can be 3 days, can be 5 days. So you can get that approved in that period of time, right? But the actual game is the green card. Yes, you need the petition to be approved for you to go to the green card, but it's a green card. How long can you wait for that? Nobody can actually tell you. Right now, the wait time for EB2, if you applied in 2023, the wait time is anywhere from 1 year to 1 year, 6 months. The visa bulletin is currently at November, for those who are adjusting, right? And then for those who are qualified, you can file for green cards right away. And then for those who want to adjust is at February 15th right now. So, and that February 15th is, for those who are in the United States. But if you're outside, you cannot adjust status. You cannot. You can only adjust if you're in the United States. So it can be from anywhere from 1 year. Hopefully, by April, when they increase the fees, they are hoping to engage more, visa officers that will start looking at the cases very, very rapidly, and that could crash the wait time, number one. Or number two, if US Congress decides to increase the quotas of available visa numbers for that category, it can also reduce the wait time. But because a lot of people are applying for EB2 and NIW from all over the world, the visa category is having extended wait time. However, it doesn't mean that you cannot be on that time. You can be on the queue. Okay, you can actually be on the queue. All right, get the petition approved, and then wait and see what happens. With the wait time. If it gets faster, beautiful. If it doesn't, at least you know that you're on your way to obtaining a green card ultimately. So it can be anywhere from 6 months to 1 year to 1 year, 3 months, based on how they release the wait time information on the visa bulletin every month. They use it every month. Within the first 10 days, first 15 days of every month, they release the updated visa bulletins. And with that, you're able to judge if the wait time is reducing or increasing. Kenny, quickly. I have about 4 minutes. Yeah, Kenny, I've asked you to unmute, so you can ask a question.
Yeah, I actually joined late, so I want to ask if the recording will be shared after the meeting.
Yes, it will be shared on the YouTube channel. So if you're on the platform, I already posted the link on that. I will repost it after this, and then you could go and subscribe. As soon as I post it, you will get a notification, and then you could watch. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
All right. So on the finish, do you have any other question? Anybody ask any? Anybody ask any? Okay, I think I saw Dayo Kajibola wanting to ask a question earlier. Is he still there? Okay, so My appeal to you is this, right? On any of the, oh, okay, Dominion. Okay, Dominion, I can really, where are you on the, let me see, Dominion? Yeah, so Dominion, you can ask your question, just on mute, quickly. Oh, okay, I think I asked Dio to unmute. Okay, Dio, please go ahead. I'll take Dominion afterwards.
Okay, thank you very much, Joshua.
You're welcome.
I think the last person actually asked a question. So
Okay.
let me just give you a context of what I wanted to ask. So I'm planning for my wife to come in maybe on a student visa and then maybe join as a dependent. But because of the constraints with dependents, so the concern is, can I transition from a dependent visa to maybe this EB2 visa while on that? So that was one clarification I needed.
Yes. So the answer to that is yes, absolute yes. As a dependent of a student, US student visa holder in the US, you can actually do for you to transit to any of this, you must just be a legal resident in the United States. Just be legal. Okay, just be legal. You can actually, so F2 is legal. You're not here behind with hook. You're here on a visa, so you can actually do that. So, but for those who are trying to use the student route, please get information. Okay, get information. How is it done? What are the, and then if you want to send your wife in advance, find out if there are things you need to consider, if there are options you need to leave open. Please get help. All right, please get help. I've seen a few things. I'll not say a lot. I've seen a few things that can actually change the dynamics of those kind of plans. So make sure, I have somebody right now that is, I'm working with, did something like that, sent the wife. And then wife is here, but they actually came seeing me when I was in Nigeria last year, trying to get, student visa for a PhD. All right. And then, the wife eventually got it, but he's here and he's finding it difficult to get a visa. He's gone like once or twice and it's been denied. So get help on how you can navigate that category. It's important. All right, thank you. Let me have Dominion on mute and ask a question. Dominion, can you unmute? I'm trying to have you on mute. All right.
My question is regarding okay, sir. Regarding the B1 and B2 for my family. I don't have issue on that, sorted already. But I'm having challenge. We paid for the MRV and sometimes 2022, but we couldn't get dates. But in the course of trying to get a date for my wife and the two kids, the person that was working on it did the changes 3 times, and the consulate cancelled her MRV, and she needed to buy another one, having separated her from the children. Well, now we bought another one last year, and attached it back to her, to her. We're finding it difficult now to get. We now had to book a date because we're told that if you don't book a date, because of the children which were bought earlier in bought around August 2022, we're told that if you don't book a date around that last year before October 1st, you will lose the whole thing. So immediately we just had to book a date, which was 2025, May precisely. We're trying to get an earlier date. Now trying to schedule another, after buying another MRV for the mother, we're having difficulty in rescheduling. Anytime you try to reschedule, or then it will tell you will lose the whole MRV. Okay. So I don't know how you can help in that.
Yes, you would have to engage me one-on-one on that, because that's a whole different ball game from what we're talking about. So just just reach out to me in person, and then let's look at how to help you solve that situation. Okay, it's very possible. All right, it's very possible. Look at how to help you get that situation resolved. But you need to engage with me privately, because that's going to take us away from what we're talking about today. But I understand the situation, no problem. Okay, so thank you guys. So again, in conclusion, I will say to you, please, getting a green card is more than a possibility, more than a possibility. Okay, but you just need to open your mind to it, get clarity, and look at the categories and tell yourself, this is what I think I want to do, and begin with it. You might want to look overwhelming initially, right? Which is where you might need somebody to handhold you, or to support you on the side and all of that. And I'm here, all right, to help you with that. I'm here to help you with that. Like I did mention last month, in last month's webinar, I had a wife of a friend who had come into the US to study, okay, in a university in the southern part of the country, came in and said and told me, you know what, Joshua, I want to get a green card. I don't want to go back to Nigeria. They were doing very well in Nigeria, very well. I mean, their company in which she runs with the husband got $100,000 grant from Google, okay, and the husband gets a lot of grants, to run their enterprises. So they're doing very well. But again, because professors are different, she said she would want to have a US green card before she's done with her studies, and she was already done and then trying to. And I said, it's fine. Do you have the money to engage a lawyer? She said, no, I don't have $5,000. Okay, which again, I said I would let you guys know. The average, American immigration attorney charges from $4,500 to $10,000. Okay, I once had an attorney who told me that they were going to be asking me to pay $5,000 because they knew me from before. Their fee was $7,000. Okay, I had another attorney that sent me an email after we discussed, and he said his own fee was $8,000. That excludes the filing fees. The filing fees depends on where you are filing. If you're filing from Nigeria, it's right now at $720. If you're filing from within the US and you are filing for adjustment, it's $720 plus $1,225. Okay, that's roughly $2,000. So add that to 10 to 8,000. That's $10,000. Okay, so if you don't have this much money, how do you navigate the process? Which is where, I told that my wife's friend, my friend's wife, that what, this is what I can do for you. Take this document, take that document, sit down. Okay, you are here as a PhD, so you can do this work. Sit down and replicate this. Okay, replicate this. So, and she took my advice, sent out the documentation, sent out the references, sent out the documents. She sat down with it, wrote a petition herself, and the money she would have used to pay a lawyer and all of that, she used that to apply for the premium processing of that case so that she can get the response in 30 days, because she was applying for EB1 in 30 days. I've applied for EB1, I've applied for EB2, I have an approved petition with the USCIS, right? So, so that was what she did. And then she got the petition approved on the 6th day. Yeah, on the 6th day. She reached out to me with excitement. Oh my God, I've just gotten it approved. I was just on the way on the staircase and I saw this notification that my petition has been approved. Okay, she got it approved in March of 2023. Okay, I was in Nigeria end of March 2023. By the time I got back to the US, she called me and said, can you imagine that I just received something in the mail from USCIS? My husband saw it and was saying, oh, what is this? It's USCIS mail. Well, let's see what it is and all of that. And they opened the parcel. Lo and behold, 3 green cards for her, the husband, and the son, because they had a child in the US already. So that one is already a US citizen. So, but the 3 of them that would have had to come back to Nigeria should they not have a reason to stay back, such as getting a green card, they were able to get green card in 6 months. The real case. I wouldn't want to mention her name. I would have asked you to go and check her up online and all that. She's doing amazing work. but she was so excited, you know, and was so grateful. Why? Because I just guided her, and I saved her about $6,000-7,000. So it's very possible you can do this yourself. But if you can't, then reach out to me. I would let you know the options that you have. I would save you a significant chunk of money, and then right from your bedroom in Nigeria, wherever you are, or anywhere you are in the world, you can get your green card petition approved. Okay. I have consultation sessions in case you want to engage me one-on-one for 30 minutes. You ask your questions. I'll provide you precise, concise, direct, and very valuable information that will change, you know, how you see some of these categories and how some of these things. So that will be it for now. I want to say thank you so much. We don't have any other question. Next month we'll have another one. We'll look at another angle of these all visa, you know, categories, and hopefully by then, some other persons would know more enough to be able to start working on their petitions. My name is Joshua Oyeni. I want to say thank you guys so much for joining. I will post the video on the